All right, we're back for another week of tasty info about King County, Snoqualmie County, Pierce County, all over the Puget Sound. And I got Tom from Guild Mortgage with me, who is going to learn us about some mortgage stats and good information and news surrounding your money. So let's get into it. Let's dive into this week in real estate. Whee! I'll share my screen.
Exciting stuff.
Yes. Not too much has changed, for being honest. Okay. Can you see this graph here, Tom?
Sure can.
King County. So I pulled King County, Snoqualmie County, Pierce County, and these are monthly stats. We've already gone over these. What I want to come down to is the weekly stats. So for sale, we've got over 2,900 single family homes. This does not include condos. Why? 2,900, 570 sold, 648 pending in the last 7 days, roughly. And as you can see, we are way up on the inventory, way down on the solds. This is a trend that is definitely going to continue, I believe. And price per square foot, days on market, you can see is going up, and sale price versus list price is going down. So
I have a question.
Yes.
So we're seeing, inventory way up, purchases down.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that is more inventory coming on the market versus people now standing on the sideline and not buying? Like, we had listings that would basically be on the market for like 3 days, but now they're on the market for like 2 weeks. So how much does that play into the inventory being up?
Mm-hmm. Well, over time, we are obviously way up on inventory versus last year when we were selling about twice, when we had, what was it, like 0.1 months of inventory.
Yeah.
And now we've got over 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, less buyers, and you've got sellers who are getting into the market. They've got a little bit of FOMO, and they want to catch the tail end of the seller's market. So I think that's what's happening. I also, I get an email once a month from this guy, property manager here in the Puget Sound. And he goes over rents and what he's noticing in the areas that he covers, which is primarily King County and a little bit outside of that. But he's noticing that rental inventory is way, way down. That's changing. That's in an upward direction. And rental prices are skyrocketing, as we expected to happen. And his analysis was, you've got all these sellers who put their home on the market and they can't sell it in 2 days with $400,000 over what the market value is. They're just, that's what they are expecting, and they're not getting it. So maybe they have to move, maybe they don't have to move, but they're downsizing, upsizing, whatever, and they can't sell their home or don't want to sell their home.
Right.
And they're going to rent it instead. So they call this guy and call a property manager and get it rented out. And so, he thinks that's going to be more of the trend. So if you're a homeowner and you're wanting to rent your house out, you don't need to sell it, do it now, because your inventory, your competition for your rental is going to be going up in the fall, most likely. As more and more renters hit the market and as more and more inventory hits the market, and with prices, going up, more inventory on the rental side means you're not going to get as much. So
I'm thinking too that, I mean, people's expectations right now of selling their home are a little bit skewed because everybody's houses were going in the first 3 days, or they actually had a day like a Tuesday where we're going to look at all offers on this one day. So we're not like that. So, I mean, are you seeing people like after 2 weeks on the market throwing in the towel?
So I've started tracking how many days, average days on market are there before there's a price drop.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the median is about 28 days.
Okay.
Now I'm seeing as early as 2 weeks. And as many as, if you're if you're selling a $2 million condo in downtown Seattle, that thing's not going to sell fast anyways.
Right.
in a hot market. It's going to be a special buyer.
Right.
And they're waiting a little bit longer on stuff like that to adjust the pricing. But your regular 3.2 on a 4,000 square foot lot, with a 2-car garage, those are about 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks.
Okay.
Where we start seeing price drops. And I think agents, just in general, are starting to catch up to that shift in the market and not doing those price drops. I think we'll continue to see that day on market go up before there's any consideration of price drops, because they'll get priced properly in the first place, and because we'll have more accurate data,
right,
on the comp side. But we're in that inventory environment right now that is 30 to 60 days on market, and that's normal.
That is normal.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to pull up something, pull up, forget about it. But yeah, it decimated with the interest rates and everything going, jumping from, what were they, under 3% at the turn of the year, and going up towards 6. Decimated people's buying power. And then on top of that, you had all these people who were cashing out stocks to put down payments down, and they got wiped out. So they're going to wait till they
that's
build
the other
their
thing.
war chest back up again. That's
a really good point, is people who are counting on the stock prices to cash out for their down payment. Now that, we're sort of in a bear market at the moment, that's put people on the sideline as well. Yeah.
That was a big whoopsie.
But here's the opportunity.
Give us the opportunity.
All those people are on the sideline means you can come out and you can get the house you want and not have anybody pushing you.
Yeah. It is true. And I think, this area being King County, Bellevue, Seattle, Tacoma, Everett. I think Everett's going to blow up.
It's already starting.
Up there.
It's already starting.
I had some friends buy up there about 5 years ago. They are not disappointed in their decision to buy up in downtown Everett. Everybody was like, "Ew, downtown Everett's gross." And like,
hey, Everett's done a ton.
The waterfront They're doing the waterfront down in Everett.
Yep.
And they've relaxed the zoning regulations around density and multifamily and height restrictions. And I mean, you're going to see Everett blow up here.
Yeah.
As soon as cost of capital comes down a little bit, I think.
Right.
But yeah. But for those anyways, yeah. Let's just we're gonna go back here. Okay. So we're on King County. Yeah. So Pierce or Snohomish County, pretty similar situation. You got 1,400 for sale, 272, 359 sold and pended, up and down, pretty relative. You actually saw last year, you saw Snohomish County, the growth in Snohomish County exceed that of King County. So that was pretty interesting. That pretty much outside of King County, Pierce County, Kitsap County. Yeah. Same deal. Days on market going up. Sold versus list going down. These are averages too. There's obviously going to be outliers. Pierce County, pretty similar to Snohomish County, 1760 sold, 356 pended, 447, up 38.3% on the inventory over the same week in June. That is a huge jump in inventory. And you'll see that reflected down here with our 2.1 months of inventory this last week and 1.3 in June. That's compared to Snohomish County with a 1.4 months of inventory in June and 2.3 months this last week. And King County is a whopping 2.2 months of inventory this last week versus 1.3 at the end of June. So
getting us
more
back
inventory.
Some bit of normality there, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited for the normality. We can actually take a breath when we're looking at houses versus running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Yeah, I'm excited. And then I wanted to highlight Snoqualmie.
Oh.
And this is Snoqualmie Ridge. I sold a house here last year, and clients love it up there. And
beautiful.
It's a beautiful area. Got tons of cool stuff. They do art and wine, movies in the park, all sorts of cool events up there in Snoqualmie. This little old train stop up there, logging kind of community back in the day. And now it's, coffee shops and ice cream parlors. And Snoqualmie Ridge was, don't quote me on this, I think it was the 80s that they started, maybe 70s, that Snoqualmie Ridge was, they broke ground on a lot of that up there, or maybe it was 60s. I don't know. I talked to a guy up there that did a bunch of drainage work for that community.
I'd say the lion's share of the work up there was in the 90s.
Was it the 90s? Yeah.
Yeah, when they were working on preliminary stuff in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, but then they really went to town in the 90s.
Yeah.
Especially when they built the country club.
Yeah. So you've got what's that, Eagle Lake over there? Just looking at a map. And that golf course. You got the Snoqualmie River, which is always fun to float down. Just don't go over the waterfall.
Just don't go over the waterfall. Yeah, the club at Snoqualmie Ridge was built basically in the 90s. The only
Yeah.
reason I'm familiar, it's my parents had a civil engineering firm, or still do,
Oh, nice.
and they did all the civil engineering work up there on the
Oh my
golf course.
gosh.
And
They
the
probably know the drainage guy that I talked to.
could be, yeah.
But yeah, highly rated schools, cute little downtown area. You know, you're out there kind of in the mountains. You're about 45 minutes from Bellevue, 30 minutes on a good day. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful out there. The air is fresher, for sure. That's an anecdotal statement. Don't quote me on that. So just looking at some quick facts of Snoqualmie Ridge. This is a 15-year look back. So you can kind of see the market cycles here. You see the 2008 inventory that we had. And
that's when they were building.
No, I'm not talking to you, Siri. But look at this appreciation we got out here in Snoqualmie Ridge. It's pretty good.
Pretty darn good.
Pretty darn good. And you can see, and this is the case for a lot of the neighborhoods around the Seattle metro area. 2007, 8, it took about 6 to 7 years to regain what people had lost during that time period. So for those of us that think the market here in the Seattle metro area, is going to crash and tumble down to the floor. First of all, that's probably not going to happen. But if it did, don't buy something that you think you're going to grow out of in 5 to 7 years. No, that's kind of hard to do, but it's a good rule of thumb, I think, for real estate. I think statistically, national average is about the same, 5 to 7 years before people consider moving. That's an NAR statistic. But yeah, currently looks like we've got 49 homes for sale up there in the Ridge. So
58%,
quite a bit, 58%. If you're looking for a home and you've got, let's see, what is the average sale price up there? 1.3 million, median 1.2. It's not a lot of waterfront up there, so those are usually pretty close together, the median and the average.
great views.
Super views. So yeah, that's probably the disparity there. But yeah, a lot of new listings. Sales are down all over. Got some pretty incredible homes. Look at this. You can get one under 900.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, look at these. I mean, you can see in these pictures, look at these views.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's Snoqualmie Ridge. Check it out. Drive up there, get some Snoqualmie ice cream. And check out
there's a real nice Irish pub up there too.
Oh yeah, you remember what it's called?
Wish I did. A buddy of mine actually owns it.
Oh, nice.
I wish I could remember the name of it.
Is it down like old Snoqualmie?
No, it's up on the Ridge. It's up in the village up there.
Oh yeah, okay. So check out the Irish pub on the Ridge. And if you're into Italian food, I know a Gianfranco is pretty awesome. You want to check that out?
Oh, never eaten there.
No, you should check it out. It's very good.
I will, for sure.
Yeah,
thanks
Snoqualmie
for the tip.
Brewery. Yeah, a lot of cool spots up there.
Yeah.
A lot of parks, so many parks. Golf courses.
Hiking,
kayaking, mountain biking. Yeah. And go get some pancakes at Salish Lodge.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yep.
Watch them stand on a chair and pour syrup on your pancakes.
Oh yeah, they do it from way up here.
Cool. Tom, what's going on with mortgages?
They still exist.
I was reading some history about mortgages the other night, and
Put you to sleep.
It did actually. It helped. Yeah, but it was back in the day, apparently mortgages were like 1, 3, and 5 years. I mean, I don't think they called them mortgages back then. It was just more of a death sentence. But
Yeah, actually, I think Canada still does things fairly similar to that.
oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A friend of mine bought a place up in Whistler, and the only thing they were offering him was a 5 or 7 year arm.
Wow.
That was it.
The big fat balloon payment at the end.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was a balloon payment or if it was an adjustment, but yeah, I just don't know how people. Maybe that's just how they guarantee people refinance or something, or move and keep the economy stimulated.
Well, how are rates doing this week?
So interesting. We did see rates ticking back just a little bit last week. I think we discussed it.
Yeah.
So we all know that the Fed's probably going to raise short-term rates this month.
Got
and
another
the
3/4 point in July.
Yeah, so the speculation has always been 0.75
yeah.
On the short-term rates. Well, now because the report came out that inflation was worse than that they thought, now there's word they're kicking around a 1% Fed rate hike. And what that's done is it's really affected the mortgage-backed securities. And so what happens is when we get speculation about what the Fed's going to do on the short-term rates, which, by the way, don't directly have anything to do with mortgage rates, but indirectly they can affect some things. It's mostly based on emotion. But so right now there's speculation is possibly they could raise short-term rates by 1%. So what's that doing to mortgage rates? Well, it's pushing them up. This morning,
shocker.
This morning I looked to lock somebody 800 credit scores, 20% down on a granted it was a condo, not a house, but the rate was 6.5%.
Dang.
Yeah. Now we've had a price improvement in the middle of the day, which happened. So now it dropped back down to like 6.375 or something like that. So I guess what I'm getting at is it kind of bakes these things in to the pricing early on. So when they do actually raise the short-term rates, we might actually see an improvement in pricing, an improvement in mortgage rates. So I just generally am saying, we're hanging around 6% is general, depending on the day, depending on the financial news of the day. Really depends on what mortgage rates are doing, but we're still sitting right around that 6% mark. Now this is something interesting. We're talking about affordability, and you were talking about how not getting a lot of offers on particular homes. You might get an offer on a home, maybe two. Well, with that kind of a market, and we talked about it a little bit last week, but interesting thing came up yesterday is people talking about buying the rate down. Okay. So in this kind of market where you don't really have any, say, competition necessarily, very little, I should say, you could actually go in with an offer and ask for a credit towards closing costs. And then we can apply the credits toward closing costs to buy the rate down. I had a agent friend of mine reach out yesterday. She's got a listing, and she said, "Hey, what would we get the rate bought down to if we had $9,000 to spend on buying the rate down?" And so I did the calculations, and the rate yesterday, it was 6.5%, but by putting 9,000 down to buy the rate down, it got it down to 5.875. That's a hefty thing. That 9,000, it saved them. It was going to save them about $500 a month. Yeah, to get the rate down that far. And also because it was such a big disparity, even though it was 9,000, it was only going to take them like 4 years to pay themselves back.
Wow.
which is fantastic. If you're planning on being in the house 5 years or longer, then it's worth it to pay that. Now, but if you ask the seller to pay that for you, it's a great deal.
Yeah, you can even do it if you're in a competitive situation.
Yeah.
Offer the seller a little bit more money, but
Credits.
ask them for $10,000 in credits, because that's cash in your pocket, and you can put that towards whatever, right? I mean,
towards your closing
buying down the
costs,
rate,
your
closing
prepaid, which
costs.
is your property taxes, homeowners insurance, and then thirdly would be to buy the rate down.
Just a rough
So,
number.
so if somebody came in on this scenario, somebody came in and the rate would be 6.5, but they paid 9,000 toward buying the rate down to 5.875. So it saves them 200 bucks a month. It'll only take 45 months to pay yourself back that extra money that you paid to buy the rate down.
Awesome. It's not even 5 years.
No. Less than 5 years. So if you plan on staying in the house for 10, it's a no-brainer. Buy that rate down.
Yeah. So rates are going up, but that's okay. Inventory's going up. Sales going down. So kind of a good time to get out there and start shopping for a home.
Oh, completely.
Thanks for your input, Tom, and the mortgage chat. This has been another week in Seattle Metro real estate. We'll see you later.
Bye, buddy.